Hello and welcome to the Boxing Life podcast with me, Tony Jeffries. Today we've got an episode I've been looking forward to for a while. We've got Steve Krebs on the podcast. Steve, how's it going, mate?
Beautiful, man. I'm glad to be here, guys.
And alongside me, we've got Glenn, Mr. Six Figure Homes. We call him Six Figures because he earns six figures by personal training. Glenn, how's it going?
Sports performance coaching. Did you not listen to the last podcast?
So Steve is a business coach, a life coach. Would you call it life coach? Business coach?
Yeah, I would call it's performance coaching, right? So I started out actually as a gym owner.
Yeah.
So actually hearing that Glenn is a six-figure trainer, it's like you realize you're in like the top 1%, right?
Really?
Top 1%.
I never think of that. I never think of that stuff.
The average coach, personal trainer, makes $37,000 a year.
Really?
$37,000.
Yeah, I mean, average across America.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you know what it is in LA or Southern California?
It's probably a little bit more, but not much.
Right.
Yeah.
So Glenn's killing it. He must be
look
doing
at this
something
guy.
right.
So if you're on YouTube calling Glenn a pussy, then you got to look at his income, man.
By that he means that on the Dan Pena podcast, we got loads of comments on that. If you want to laugh, just go through the comments on the Dan Pena video, and everyone's calling Glenn a pussy and a pedo.
It's funny.
Steve, can you tell us a little bit about yourself in a nutshell, mate?
Yeah, I'm actually originally from a really small town, like really small, more cows than people in upstate New York. And so the story is crazy because throughout the process of my life, that's how I became a coach. I kind of naturally was drawn to it my entire life. My grandfather was actually started Little League Baseball in our town. The field is named after him, so it kind of runs in my family. My father owns a body shop, and I grew up in this small town, and I moved away. Went to Florida, went to college, did all this shit, and was actually like a big fucking loser for about 10 years. Right, because everybody goes through this process where you're trying to find your way in business or in life and trying to figure out what you want to do. Like, not everybody comes through and says, I want to be a boxer. Yeah. Immediately, right, when they come out of the mix. Like, I didn't know what I wanted to do, right for the longest time. So I'll skip to the end of the story, right, is that I went to college, was lost for a while, kind of went through what most guys go through from the ages of like 22 to 35 nowadays. They get lost. They get stuck in a void. They lose passion. Then they're sedated, right? In the bar, chasing ass, doing shit that doesn't really like...
Someone comes to mind.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of people. So fast forward, I ended up being the head coach at Wake Up Warrior, which is a program for male entrepreneurs. It's the leading program for male entrepreneurs on the planet. And in the last 17 months, I've coached guys from all walks of life. Guys that are employees, guys that are CEOs, really high level, like one of the most famous self-help gurus, family member. I can't say the name, but we've had big name guys come through that program. So I went from being a nobody, really like just struggling to try to figure shit out for myself, to being a gym owner, to then getting into coaching.
So tell me about what is coaching, because we think of sports performance coaches and coaching people in the gym. What is coaching what you do? Because it's different, right?
Well, it all starts with the same thing, right? The way I look at coaching, what makes me a good coach at what I do now, which is high-level elite performance coaching across all areas, which is body, being, balance, and business, right? So when you think about that...
Body, being, balance, and business.
Body, being, balance, and business. So your physical body, what you guys do here, right? Being is spirituality. So I don't deem it as religious. It's spirituality. Whatever you define it as is up to you. So if that means the universe, Buddha, God, whatever you define it as, it's connection. Mm-hmm. Balance is your relationship. So you guys know this, right? If your relationship is off, how does it affect your business?
Yeah.
Immediately, something's off. So we go from balance, which is your relationship, to business. So to me, business is not just how you run your business, it's what goes in your pocket. So the king eats first. So if you guys are running this business and you don't profit from it, what's the point? Right. So it all runs in together. So that's the mainstay of what we teach at Warrior, and what I teach now inside of Coach Steve's Straight Path Leadership. So we coach entrepreneurs, CEOs, businessmen, all down the line, all the way down to regular guys.
Right. So I know a little bit more about what you do because we've been training together now for a few weeks, and you've been telling me about it. But for people who don't know, so coaching, you sign people for a year, right, or a month at a time.
Yeah.
And you speak to them once or twice a week, right?
Yeah. It's so I don't think I answered your question actually. So the difference in coaching first, before I roll on to what my offer is. I don't think there's a difference in the way that Glenn and you teach in here and the way I teach out there at all. You guys are passionate about what you do, correct?
Yeah.
When you're passionate about what you do, and if you can attach purpose and passion to your profits, what happens?
Attach passion and purpose to your profits. Go on.
Yeah, so if you do that, what happens? It doesn't feel like work anymore, does it?
Yeah.
No, you actually like want to come in. You enjoy who you're working with.
Yeah.
You stop feeling like you bought yourself a job.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's what most business owners go through. They actually have created a self-imposed prison.
Yeah.
So the only difference between my coaching and what you guys do here is I punch people in the face verbally and you punch them in the face physically.
Yeah.
That's the only difference, right? Most people just lack connection. Most guys feel like they're out on an island by themselves because most guys don't communicate with each other like ladies do. If you think about it, women naturally talk to each other. Go ahead.
Yeah.
With the problem.
No, I'm just listening to what you're saying.
Okay.
I was just thinking about what you were saying about the spirituality side of things. But I think this is what I was talking earlier about, the difference between someone who calls himself a personal trainer and someone who's a sports performance coach, how there's so much more to the whole puzzle. So people that train with me, they come in, they do a session, and then they leave. I don't just close the door there. It's like I try to mentor people with other areas of wellness, whether it's giving them advice on nutrition and supplements, or setting them up with acupuncturist, or giving them information on how to increase their mobility, how to sleep better, all that kind of stuff. I try to just give as much knowledge out there as I possibly can, as well as for an hour just putting them through a good session as well.
Yeah, I think the difference between an elite coach and the shitty coaches that we've all experienced is your heart.
Yeah, exactly. You have to give a shit.
Mm-hmm. So your heart, and then there's 3 A's. I call it the 3 A's of coaching: accountability, access, and association. So accountability is your coach, is you holding them to a higher standard.
Yeah.
Even in your sessions.
Right.
What separates you from everybody else, I watch you train in here.
Right.
You're connected to your clients.
Yeah.
Right. So here's the problem with, if you're not spiritually connected to yourself,
Yeah.
you can't be connected to anyone else.
Yeah, definitely.
So the way that we teach that thing that I just told you guys about body being balanced in business, without accessing like power through your body, you can't really tap into your gut or your inner voice. You guys know you got like a voice in your head all the time, right? Not crazy voices, but just like like your gut, right? People say trust your gut. Like when you were in the Olympics and you were in a match, you trust your instincts.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with coaching.
Yeah, yeah.
So what sets you apart from everybody else is those 3 A's. It's simple.
Say it again.
So it's accountability,
right,
access, and association. So the accountability comes from the coach to the client. Association comes from them being in a place like this with other people that are like them, that understand why they're here.
So that makes them feel comfortable, right?
Exactly.
At home.
The number one thing that guys struggle with is the feeling like they're all alone on an island.
Right.
Nobody understands them, specifically business owners.
Yeah.
Because we go inside, we're like, oh, I'm a guy, I can't talk about this shit, right?
Yeah.
So we put ourselves there and then wonder why our wives, girlfriends, whoever, business partners can't understand where we're at. And then the last piece is access. You give them access to information, wisdom, right? You guys know the difference between wisdom and knowledge, right?
Wisdom is experience.
Exactly.
Right.
Right.
Yeah, knowledge is you can Google anything right now.
Yeah, yeah.
And what I've come to see, fellas, is that there is too much information right now. There's too much. You can become addicted to it and overwhelmed by it, and that's why most people freeze. And that's why the need for a coach is more important now than ever before. That's why I put my money on the line and work with you guys.
Yeah.
Because most coaches aren't willing to actually hire a coach. Did you have a coach in the Olympics?
Of course. Yeah.
Yeah. Do pro football players have coaches?
Yeah.
I just wrote a blog about this a couple of months ago about if you're a personal trainer, or even if you're not a personal trainer, just if you're a trainer in general, you're saying, by having that job, you're saying that people need a trainer, right?
Yeah.
So why do you not need a trainer yourself?
It's crazy, right? But the average...
It's kind of hypocritical by nature, by having that holier-than-thou mentality. It's like, well, I know how to do personal training. I know how to coach people. I know about health and fitness. So I just do it all myself.
So
I don't need
Steve,
someone.
let's talk about your coaching. So you're coaching, you're coaching these businessmen, male-only entrepreneurs. Right?
Yep.
Is there a reason why it's males?
Because I'm a guy. It's harder for me. I've coached women in the past. And in this, I love women. Let's just put that out there, right? It's just, there's a disconnect. There's a disconnect for me. I can coach them, but I call it violent accountability with the smash mouth coaching, full contact coaching, meaning I love these guys. I just brought them in here yesterday or 2 days ago to train.
Right.
So it's part of the process to come and introduce them to really cool places of successful people that they can look at, because this group is all fitness business owners.
Yeah.
So I don't train women because I just don't feel comfortable smashing them like the way I coach guys. Right? Like getting angry and getting after them. It's not that I don't think the women can handle this. So YouTube commenters, like, don't send me hate mail. I'm just saying that it's a personal preference.
Yeah.
It's a personal preference. That's it.
So coaching these male entrepreneur businessmen, what sort of stuff do you do? I know you do a weekly phone call or get together with all of them, right?
Yeah.
So what do you actually do? What do you talk about, and what are the questions?
Got it. So the whole program is built around this idea of it's based in part of Wake Up Warrior, which is where I started.
Yeah.
It's what helped me break through. So if you're a male entrepreneur and you just want to find out about it, you can go to wakeupwarrior.com. It literally changed my life. Because before that, I was kind of lost. I was coaching people at the time. I was coaching fitness business owners. And what helped me make the switch to coaching the full spectrum of entrepreneurs was going there myself. So we break this down every 90 days. We choose targets across the board in body, being, balance, and business. So there's 90-day targets involved, all built towards their empire vision with the highest level of accountability and tracking. So they track everything. What gets measured gets managed. So everything is tracked. There's no room for them to go, well, coach, I didn't know what I was supposed to do. From their revenue, from their take home, which to me, all that really matters in business is what you put in your pocket, right? We could talk about gross revenue, which is most gym owners and specifically coaches will talk about what they take home.
Yeah.
And to me, it doesn't matter if you don't have a great relationship and you don't put money in your pocket so you can actually affect your true legacy, right? I see your legacy running around here all the time, your kids. That's what matters. When we get caught up too much in worrying about what other guys are thinking or other business owners or other coaches think, we've lost.
Yeah, and we see that all the time.
Yeah.
What would you say the biggest thing is that you're helping these business owners? Is there like a kind of a pattern where they come in to talk to you? See, one thing when you first told me about that, I was like, who the fuck needs a business course like this? And then when I thought about it, if I never had a business partner, Kevin, to bounce ideas off, or if there's a big decision that needs making, it's like, it's like, do you trust yourself enough? But if I had someone like you, if I never had a business owner, I think it would be really, really beneficial to me. So I'm not taking the full responsibility if something messes up, if that makes sense.
Makes perfect sense.
Back to the question, what is is there a big thing that you see, a common thing what you see with all the business owners where they're struggling with in their life? Most
of the time when they get to me, they've burnt out.
Right.
So most business owners have sacrificed something to gain success.
Right.
They've had to. Their relationships, their body. I'm sure you guys run into this all the time. You got guys coming in here that have beat the shit out of their bodies. They may be very successful, or they've fucked up their relationship with their wife or their kids, or they're spiritually like nothing. Right. There's no connection. So when they get to me, it's usually there's just something missing. And so Straight Path Leadership, that's the name of my program. It's just we take them from point A to point B with no fluff, no bullshit, no hand-holding, no pats on the ass. I love these guys, but we push them.
Right.
So when we set these targets, the whole thing is what we were talking about the other day, which was finding out the true purpose. So you see this thrown around. Simon Sinek wrote this book called The Why.
Yeah.
Start with Why.
Yeah.
So it's the same idea. If you can attach purpose and passion to your profits, that's kind of this thing that I keep coming back to, because if you don't do that and it's just based in money, what happens to your profits or your income?
Yeah.
It goes up and down and up and down and up and down because you have this self-imposed glass ceiling that you set for yourself. So a lot of these guys are coming in, and it's, number one is the association, like I was telling you about the coaching, right? So association with other guys where they can get together. I just had my meeting this past weekend. They come together. I set a whole event up for them where they go through all these experiences. They went to improv. They went to the Comedy Store together. I brought them here to train together. And then I took them through coaching, a process that I do that helps them get clear.
Yeah.
So there's two things that people look for when they come for coaching with me: clarity and freedom. Now, the freedom can come from their self-imposed bullshit ideas, stories. You guys notice this? The mind is kind of weak at times.
Right.
So you've seen this in boxing, right? You turn it up on somebody, and they're backing up.
Yeah.
What do? You watch them break.
Right.
The story is what? He's putting too much pressure on me. I can't do this. Like, I can't.
Yeah.
Well, people have story. The human mind is a projector, and it projects stories all day long. You guys probably have stories that we could work on right now. We won't do it, but there's stories that you run, right? So it's like, think about it. Your story was, I don't know if I have what it takes to build a mastermind of my own for Box and Burn. It's a story. It's a story.
Yeah.
That's a story, because what we know for a fact is you've built a very successful business, which takes a lot of hard work and a lot of brains and the ability to lead other people, correct? How many trainers do you guys have that work here?
It's like 30 plus.
30 trainers.
See, so what you're talking about there, when you're listening, Steve's talking about, like, he came in here and after a few sessions, he was like, you need to start a mastermind. You need to do this. You need to start coaching other business owners, gym owners, about how to be successful because we're so successful. And the first thing that popped in my head was like, I'm not qualified enough. And I told him that, and he was like, well, you are, because you are.
I think the small, like, an example of that so far is through the academy. We're kind of doing that with the academy a little bit. We're teaching trainers how to teach boxing the way we've found to be successful. So we've kind of started on that path a little bit with the academy. But I agree with you in terms of gym ownership and the business side of it all. There's definitely...
It was funny because the next day after we had a meeting, me and Kevin and Steve had a meeting, went for coffee and we talked all about it. The very next day was the day that you, Glenn, got a message on Instagram of someone saying, how much do you charge for
consultancy? Yeah.
And Glenn was like, look at this. And I was like, bloody hell. And then the day after that, I got a phone call off a woman from Florida saying, can you do an extra day and talk about business plans and about how to... And I was like, and I never thought much of it. And then I told Steve, and he was like, look at that. That's a sign right there that the market's for you to start doing business consultancy.
Definitely, yeah.
What qualifies you to do this, Steve? I know that you're a small bastard, but what qualifies you?
Yeah, so here's the reality. To me, the proof is in the pudding.
Right.
What I mean is if you've built things and you've been successful, then why wouldn't you be able to teach people how to do it?
Yeah.
So I came out of college. I told you guys, I was lost. I graduated college, which my college degree didn't qualify me to do this.
Right.
I came out with a health science degree. What is that exactly? It's very general and broad. And then I was going to do physical therapy, and then I was going to do all these things, but I kept realizing that I'm not a great employee.
Right.
I was always the guy that was arguing with my bosses because I always had ideas that I wanted to run on my own. So when I was like 27 years old, I put everything I had, and my father helped me start my first business.
Which was a gym?
It was a gym. Yeah, it's called Next Level Athletic Performance.
In the worst place in New York.
It was, ranked top 12 worst places to own a business in Forbes magazine in the United States, my city. And it's home. My hometown is kind of like having a brother, right? You can talk shit about your brother, but you don't want anybody else to, kind of thing.
Right.
But I'm sure you guys understand. Same thing, right? So, I came from a place, and I was the highest paid, the most successful fitness business owner in the area, and I came out of nowhere.
Right.
So then we started, I had a business partner at the time, Luca Hosevar, one of my best friends in the world. Then we started our own consulting business. Because what we saw was there was a hole in the marketplace. Inside of the realm, there was nobody in the trenches, like what you guys are. I would consider this a gym where you guys are in the trenches. You're still training. You're still working with people because you love it. To me, that's being in the trenches, which gives you an unfair advantage of these people that just go to marketing seminars and regurgitate shit and have never actually applied it.
Yeah.
It's like, no offense if you're a heavy trainer, but if you're overweight by 75 pounds and you're training people, there's a disconnect. Yeah. So what qualifies me is what I've been through. Right. What qualifies me is that I've helped hundreds. Last year, I've coached over 200 men.
Wow.
And the results are insane. Insane.
So how many people are on your roster or your client list
right now? 15.
Yeah. And those are just individual people?
Yep.
And do you limit it to how many people you can take on at once?
Yeah, this year I'll take on 34 clients.
Right.
That's it.
Right.
That's it. Because what I found is if I go too big, it diminishes my ability to fulfill at the highest level.
Right.
Like when I came in here and I was like, okay, here's some things that I see because I love you guys. I love this place. I was like, here's some things that I see that we could always improve. And that's, to me, that's the kicker or the argument for having a coach. It allows me to come into any business and take a 10,000-foot view of what's going on, or your relationship, or your spirituality, or your body. Now, do I think I'm better than anyone else? Of course not. I'm just a regular guy trying to figure shit out myself. I just have more reps. So what I say is I'm just a little further down the sidewalk than these guys, and I can spot the pile of dog shit before they step in it. Yeah. And I just say, just don't step in that pile of dog shit. That's it.
Right.
And I've studied marketing, sales, systems, and fulfillment for the last 15 years.
Right.
So when people talk to me, they go, well, you're not really a business coach, are you? You're kind of like a life coach. And I'm like, no. But a guy can't hear business if he's cheating on his wife, popping pills, boozing every weekend. Yeah. How do I know? Because that was me for a little bit.
Right.
And I ran my businesses in the ground on purpose because I didn't feel like I deserved it.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
So now I'd say your main qualification to justify your coaching is, do you refer back to case studies and examples of how you've helped businesses in the past? Is that your main source?
So for marketing?
Someone comes up to you, I want to work with you or whatever. Say if I came up to you and said, I want to work with you. What qualifies you to tell me what to do, how to run my business? You're the first thing you will do now then, I'm asking a question is, you just go, okay, well, I got this guy over here. I took him from this and this and this in the last 6 months. And in the last year, he's done this, this and this. You just provide case studies to back yourself up now?
Yeah, I'll use that as an example. Right. But if I'm talking to you, the first thing I'm going to say is, why the fuck are we having a conversation anyway?
Right. What do you mean? What do you mean? Why are we having?
I'll say, why are you contacting me? Right. It's not about me. My results are proven. My life is great.
Yeah.
My wife and I are connected.
Yeah.
You can question me all day long, but guess what? I'm still going to get shit done. Are you?
Yeah.
You contacted me for a reason. So this is the way that I sell. And I'll teach your listeners this stuff. It's awesome. It's called exposing the gap.
That's quality.
So that's the first. I set the frame. So the frame is mine now. I'm the prize in the sales process. Now, people that aren't business owners, you're going to probably think I'm a douchebag, and that's warranted. It's okay. I appreciate you. But this stuff works. And for me, what I want my guys to be able to do is make enough money so they can support their families and put their kids through college. So I don't give a shit about haters that are going to say stuff about me, because all I care about is, so there's a rule. There's 3 people that get a say. My family, people that I pay, and people that pay me. So anybody that's on here like calling you, breaking your balls?
Yeah, whatever.
Let them go, because you know what? Anybody can type on a computer or like talk shit.
Cheeto fingers.
Yeah. So we set the frame. That's how I set the frame with you. Yeah. So you go like, oh, well, give me some, what have you done? Well, I've done a lot of things, Glenn. What have you done?
Right.
Why are we on the call?
Yeah.
And then the next piece is, well, listen, Glenn, like...
But I'd preface that you can't have that attitude unless you actually have done something, which clearly you have. But I'm just saying, it takes a long process to be able to get to that point where you can adopt that.
Agreed.
Mentality,
Yeah. I've coached for the last 10 years.
Right.
And if you count my fitness experience, 15, 16, I don't even know anymore.
And that's just having the confidence and the belief in yourself over what you've done over the however X amount of years to be like, okay, I've done this. I know what I'm doing.
I want people to hold themselves to a higher standard. Yeah. And as a man to a man, if I come in weak, other men will sniff that shit out, and it's like you in the ring. Right. If you see them look down away from you, you're like, oh, got him.
And that's an instant confidence builder too, right?
Yeah.
I think to do what you do and the way you do it, you've got to be so confident, have so much self-belief.
I do, but I also have doubt just like anyone else.
Where's your doubt? Let me get into this.
Yeah, I'll listen. I'm gonna open the jacket up here.
The good thing is, but when I was walking in here, when Cameron talked about how much you charge and how much you make and all that, he went, yeah. He says, one thing that I'm told to truly believe in is speaking the truth, putting all the cards on the table. So I was like, I like that. I like that.
The main component of the program that I came through, Warrior, is tell the fucking truth. Right. Because most people feel unworthy to share their truth. Most guys don't want to share their truth. We've all fucked up, right? We've all done things. Think about it like this. If everybody in the world had to put a sign around their head and it said the worst thing you've ever done on it, nobody'd leave the house.
Shit.
You wouldn't leave the house. You'd be like, shit, I'm not going anywhere.
Yeah.
So I just want to lay my cards on the table. I want to make sure that people understand that, listen, I have doubt just like anybody else. My life is a roller coaster inside of my own head. My doubt, it's just like anybody else's. Just like when you said, I don't know if I could do this. The difference between me and most people is I've always asked myself one question. Why not me? If somebody else can be uberly successful and drive a Lamborghini and take care of their families, but I saw that, but I also realized there's a lot of miserable millionaires.
Right.
So I was driving towards that piece of it and realized that I forgot everything else that was important. So I have doubts just like anyone else. I doubt myself in terms of if I'm qualified to do what I do sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's a story. So there's a statement that I meditate. We talked about this, but meditation is a huge part of my life. And there's a mantra that I use, and it's act in spite of thoughts, feelings, moods, and emotions.
Just do it. Just do it. Anyway.
Just act in spite of it, because most of the time when my mind tells me, I can't do this, it means that I should do this. If my mind says, I don't have time to meditate, that's when I know I need to meditate.
Right.
So the mind and your gut are two different things. Make sense? This will create stories all day. So I experienced doubt. I couldn't be a good coach if I didn't experience doubt, because that means my life would be perfect. Right. And I have no flaws. And I'm walking around floating on there with money flying out my asshole. Like, it just doesn't work that way.
Yeah.
So it allows me to go like, I remember when I was in your place, and here's what I did to get out of it. Or I'll be honest with you guys, like, do I have all the answers? not the Dalai Lama. Like, I'm just trying to figure shit out too. I'm just a little further down the sidewalk, and I've studied this stuff. So say you came to me and were like, hey, coach, listen, I need to know this, this, and this. What's the latest Facebook tactic? I'd be like, Tony, I don't know. That's not my specialty. Let me connect you to somebody who is a specialist at it.
And that's value.
Absolutely.
Huge value, yeah.
If you run your ego out the front of everything, you lose.
Totally.
Yeah.
That's what comes back to what I said before, is like, as soon as someone asks me a question, if I don't know the answer, I've got to be able to point them into a direction where they can go and get that answer. So how do I fix this shoulder problem? I don't know the answer, but contact this person. They'll get you they'll do acupuncture with you, whatever it is, they'll fix it for you. Then they go to that person. I've given that value, and then they've come back and their shoulder's fixed.
Mm-hmm.
When I start training you, I think we've been doing a few weeks now, and I found out what you've done. I thought, yeah, he's paying me, and I'm going to fucking pick his brain here. I'm going to get some good shit out of him.
Yeah.
And so far I have. I've got some really good stuff out here. One of the biggest things, I don't know if I spoke to you about this, Glenn, what Steve told us and what's just stuck in my head and it's just changed the game completely for me. Changed it completely. Was my big goal has always been is open 3 gyms, Santa Monica, Brentwood and West Hollywood, and then start passing the other gyms out and doing the franchise. And I was talking to Steve about me stress having 2 gyms, and now we've got 30 trainers, and someone want to be actors, someone want to do this and do that, and I'm stressing, I'm not getting much time with my family. And he said, and you want to open a 3rd gym? He said, might not be the best thing to do. Rather than going wide, was it wide?
Yeah.
Go deep.
With the 2 gyms that
exist. 2 gyms. I went, what do you mean by that? He says, well, how can you maximize the profits out of these 2 gyms? And I went, well, classes are full of personal trainers. So have you got a nutritions? Do you sell nutritional products?
Yeah.
Like on it and stuff? I went, no. He went, get an affiliate program with them. What about doing a fight camp? And then he started popping out all these ideas with me. I'm like, shit. This is like the 2nd session I think we're training together. And I was like, wow. So now that's what I want to do. I don't want to open the 3rd gym in West Hollywood.
Create branches. It's like, I feel like if a good analogy would be like Santa Monica's one tree trunk, Brentwood's another one, and then you can just build these branches off them.
Yeah, but the thing what he made us realize is like, do you want more money? Yeah, you get a bit more money with the 3rd location, but you're going to get 3 times more stress.
Totally.
Or do you want to maximize the money with what you've already got with less stress?
Yeah.
And then let that do its own thing with giving someone else a gym.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. So that's like, there, you paid me a lot of money to train with me, but really, I'm the one getting the value out of the sessions.
That's a good deal.
Yes.
So the cool part about that is, though, when people hear this conversation, they're going to go like, well, this is all about money, and it's not. Because what we have to look at first is how you guys define money. Your definition or belief about money will dictate your life. So to me, money is just security, peace of mind, and the ability to take care of my family. If you look at money as just this thing that allows you to buy more things, you've lost. Right. So for you to go, oh man, actually that's what I'd rather do. Most business owners will build things bigger just to build them bigger so they can show everybody how big their dick is.
Right.
Now when you make that shift, you go, hey, this is actually more fun for me. A, so that's part of the process. B, I can make more money with less stress. And C, we get people better results. It's a win-win-win. Like Conor McGregor's the champ, we got the win-win-win.
Right.
So at the end of the day, if you're watching this, if you're a trainer, business owner, just a regular person, like at the end of the day, you just have to figure out what you want because our time is limited. Right? You can't buy more time. You can't go down to 7-Eleven and pick up more. You can't borrow it from somebody else. So sit down and get real on what the fuck you actually want. Otherwise, I can't help you. I'm not going to magically pull ideas out of my ass. I knew deep down that you didn't want a 3rd baby because you have Santa Monica baby 1, Brentwood baby 2. You bring a 3rd baby into the mix, and now you have to add another how many trainers? 10, 12?
Yeah.
Managing people is the hardest part of business.
100%.
Hardest part.
100%. Yeah, it is. It is. So, I mean, like I said, through that, the value that I got was fantastic. And I feel like you've given me lots of advice and told me lots of stuff since we've been working together. But that there clicked for me where if you were telling someone like Kevin, my business partner, all the same shit, it might have been something else that clicked for him, right? Different people
Pick up different things.
different things all the time. So I know a big thing for you is meditation, Steve. Let's talk a little bit about that.
So meditation for me, meditation can be prayer, right? You get to define what it is. There's only one wrong way to meditate. You know what it is? No. Don't meditate. Right. And all it is creating space. So you've heard, you guys hear the words like get connected, get centered, right? Get grounded. Yeah. These are all based in like not in theory, but literally. So I used to suffer from anxiety. I still do. From day to day, my anxiety would be all over the place. And what I realized is that my anxiety is just a green light. It just means I need to take action. So meditation allows me to harness the anxiety and see what the fuck is going on inside of my head. So it's literally the ability to create space in my mind. So can meditation be you go for a walk? Yes. Can meditation be I close my eyes in the middle of that ring and just run mantras? Yes. You define what it is, but it's just creating space. So this idea of getting grounded, I learned it from another mentor of mine to take my shoes off and my socks off and put my feet in the grass when I got stressed out. Yeah. Literally get grounded, and it helps. So meditation is just a way to rejuvenate, reset, recover. There's all these words, and they're all R's because I like putting words together like this. So when I picture meditation, you guys remember the original Nintendo, like the old school Super Mario?
Yes.
There's a little button on the front, power and reset. Yeah. And it's a gray button with red lettering. Yeah. That's what I picture. Anytime I was losing a game against my little brother, I just hit the fucking reset button. So it's the same thing. If you guys are out of control or you feel like you're out of power, power is a word that I talk about a lot. Personal power. Not like, hey, let's walk over coals, no offense, but like it's like personal power. Feeling like you're in control of yourself. Yeah. The reset button allows you to go, okay, let me take a little time out and bring myself back to normal. So the first meditation every day that we teach is just to go from the shit pit of stress back to normal so you don't choke everyone that you love. Right. And then the second meditation allows us to create inside of space. So your mind will actually start creating solutions rather than problems. You guys notice this? If you're stressed out, tired, what does the mind do? It looks for problems. If you're rejuvenated and recovered and you're clear-headed, like you're buzzing after like an espresso shot, your mind will go 10x on ideas, and then we just have to harness that and apply action to it. Yeah. Right. So meditation is simply one of the tools that I teach to help people create space so they can think straight.
Would you recommend specific types of meditation?
I think ascension meditation or mantra-based meditation is the key. So it's as simple as choosing a mantra. So say we use the one that I shared before, or one that I use a lot is, today, I choose to produce in power, with passion, on purpose. Right. Those are the ones that I'll use on my second meditation. So I tell people to start with 5 minutes. There's no wrong way to do it. If I had Tony sit on the ringside here and just breathe for 5 minutes, you may go like, nothing happened. Right. It didn't work for me because my mind was working. It's never going to stop. Your mind is not going to shut down. You're not going to, maybe some, like a monk in the middle of the mountains in Nepal has actually found a higher state of consciousness and he's floating and shit. But for normal guys like us, you're just going to sit there and your mind's going to go crazy. Yeah. So mantra-based meditation just allows you to pull the mantra back in when your mind starts going nuts. Now, like when I meditate, my mind goes to crazy places. I start thinking about tits and all kinds of crazy stuff. I do.
Do you always do guided meditations?
Not always. Right. So you mean guided by myself or like listening to something? Yeah. So there's Mindspace. There's an app called Brainwaves. So like I share the stuff that I teach for free sometimes because without the accountability and the access and the association, it's less powerful. But if somebody can take one thing I've said today and apply it to their life and change it, then we win. Right. So I'm not like guarding my tray like I'm eating in prison. Yeah, yeah. I want to share as much as possible because I feel like I'm here on earth for impact, not time.
What do you think how would you feel, let's say, if you never meditated for a week?
Oh, I'm a nightmare. So if you ask my wife, she'll be like, listen, why don't you go meditate real quick? Really? And it's her way of saying, you're being a complete asshole. Can you please go clear your mind?
That's a fortunate situation to be in, that she can recognize that and will say, go and meditate. Not everyone has that.
It's taking reps. So my wife, Brie, she's a sweetheart. She's like a ball of light. She's just one of these people that doesn't have any darkness in her. She's just not like mean or angry. So But throughout this process of me going through Warrior myself and then being the coach there and then starting my own thing and teaching other guys this stuff, she's picked it up herself. I didn't ask her to do it. I didn't force her to do it. But if she asked me questions, I taught her. And that's where I feel like if we just jump to balance for a quick second, relationships, this is where guys and girls miss out on each other. It's in communication.
Right.
So clarity is created through clear communication.
Yep.
That's C4.
Yep.
Right? It's created through clear communication, and there's a book called Way of the Superior Man. It's fucking weird, but it's amazing.
Sent me the PDF of that book. He said it'll
What's
change
it
your
called?
life. Way of the Superior Man.
Way of the Superior Man. And it's there's some weird stuff in it, but for the most part, it talks about how men and women communicate on these wavelengths where we don't hear each other.
Right.
And this is why people fight. Another book is called Crucial Conversations. So I guess if you want to know a qualification, I read like a maniac. I always have. Because I don't need to go on the internet for information. I go into a book, and it allows my mind to expand and get revelations and takeaways that I can apply to my coaching all day, every day. So those books have changed the way that I operate with Bree, because for the longest time, I told you to take the 5 love languages test.
I did it.
And it allows you to see what makes her tick, what she actually likes, what you actually like, and Bree and I just shared it with each other. Right. So she's quality time, and I'm acts of service. Meaning if she makes me like a sandwich when I'm working really hard, I'm like, this is the greatest thing of all time.
Right, yeah.
But if I buy her a gift, she's like, oh, it's cool.
Yeah.
But if I go, hey, I cleared my whole afternoon out for you, she's like, yes, it's the greatest thing ever.
Right.
Yeah.
So go ahead.
No, that's the 5 love languages. There's a book with that. It's like because someone told me before, it's like you speak different languages in love, and I think that's a fantastic way to put it. You know?
100%. Most relationships go bad because there's no communication. So what happens when you don't communicate? Sex goes bad. Yeah. As soon as sex goes bad in a relationship, for the man and the woman, it's over.
Yeah.
It's over, because the guy's immediately going to start looking elsewhere. And guess what? Women are better at that shit than men. We think we're slick. When women finally have had enough, when women have had enough, though, they'll come. They're like brain ninjas. They're taking you out.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, if you can find out what makes her tick, and you dedicate yourself weekly to going on date night, it's another thing that we teach.
Right.
Date your wife.
Yeah.
So you go and you take her out and you make her feel like you actually give a shit. You're not walking around the living room farting in your boxers and expecting her to put lingerie on. It's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So invest in her. So I asked my guys, all business owners, what if you took 25% of the energy and focus you put into your business and you just directed some of that at her?
Right.
What do you think would happen? You'd be getting the crazy shit again that happened when you first started dating.
Yeah.
Crazy upside down stuff. I don't know what you're into, but like that's what would happen. And when she feels empowered, guess what happens? Your business will go to another level because she's supportive again instead of sabotaging you.
Right.
Because when women feel like they're not, when they don't matter, or us for that matter, what do? You start poking the other person.
Oh, yeah.
You start tripping them up, laying little landmines in front of them and sit back and wait for them to step on it. I got her this time. So if you guys look at what we talked about, it's beautiful because we went from body, training, what you do, and we connected it to spirituality.
Yeah.
And then we connected it to relationship. Those are the 3 steps for me that have to happen and be dialed in so that the business can bump.
Right.
Otherwise, if one of these is out of place,
yeah,
it's like taking the keystone out of an arch. It all falls down.
If you can give business owners out there 3 tips to improve their business, what would it be?
Yeah, number 1, stop bullshitting. Stop fucking lying. Like, that's number 1. Like, legitimately. Stop lying.
Lying to yourself.
In every capacity. Air your dirty laundry.
Yeah.
If you're up to no good, stop. Or at least be fucking honest about it.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm just honest about shit. If I see a hot woman in front of my wife, I'm like, she's beautiful.
Ooh, I don't know about that. Like,
that's a tough one.
Yeah, that's a tough one, mate.
I'd get a slap if I said that.
That's the relationship that I've developed, though. You got to understand that at the end of the day, you're thinking it, aren't you?
I mean, but you can keep that shit to yourself.
Don't say it. They're thinking it, but I get it. I get what you're saying. But for me, we'll take that equation or example out of it. But tell the fucking truth. Meaning, if you expect your employees, your team, your staff, or your clients, customers to follow you, and you're full of shit, they will sniff it from a mile away.
Right.
The marketplace is saturated right now with everything. If you go on Facebook, how many Facebook ads do you see now?
Yeah.
Every other thing that you see. So people are becoming immune to it. You know what they're attracted to? The fucking truth.
Yeah.
This is
honesty and real people.
Exactly.
Right? Yeah.
So we teach the code, and the code is real, raw, relevant results. facts, feelings, focus, and fruit.
Right.
Right? And these are the things that we teach, because if you are full of shit, guess what? Sooner or later, you are going to be found out. So number one, stop bullshitting. Feel worthy to share your truth, no matter how bad it is, because guess what? By you sharing your truth, when I shared my truth to my group, it allows them and gives them permission to share as well. And now we have a group of guys that actually don't feel alone anymore. They feel like they actually have brothers.
Yeah.
That's a word that's thrown around too much to me.
Brother.
Oh, you're my brother. What's up, man? Like, what's up, bro?
Yeah.
It's just bullshit.
Yeah.
Because at the end of the day, like, they don't actually, a lot of guys don't actually care about each other. They don't connect in a real way.
Yeah.
Second thing, find purpose before you worry about profits. I'll say it a million times today. Find your purpose before worrying about profits. Because if you create a self-imposed prison in your business, it doesn't matter how much money you make, you'll be miserable.
Right. Yeah.
And if you're miserable, you will stress out of your mind. And if you're stressed out of your mind, your health will be bad. And if your health's bad, you're going to die early. So all that money that you earned is going to be great for your kids who are going to be spoiled dickheads and then blow it in like 10 years because they get caught up in like driving Lambos and blowing coke up their nose.
Yeah.
So there's two. Tell the truth,
Spot on.
find purpose.
Yeah.
The last piece is find joy inside of the journey.
right.
If you are not enjoying the process of what you're doing, stop it. Now, people watching this will go like, well, must be nice, dude. Let me remind you where the fuck I'm from. I'm from a place that the average income in my area when I was in business was around $37,000 a year. I had nothing, right? When I went out on my own away from my parents, I didn't have a pot to piss in. So I understand where you guys are at. And I had all kinds of stories. But I was a part-time worker and a full-time partier, right?
Yeah.
Living like a rock star on a janitor's budget. So I understand, but if you cannot find joy day to day and be present, like be fully present. How many times have you guys actually sat down and have a conversation and you find your mind thinking of other shit while the other person's talking?
Yeah.
all the time.
Or you're waiting for them to shut up so you can talk.
Right.
It's impossible to be, if you're doing that, or you're thinking about what's down the road, and I'm guilty of this still today. That's why I meditate. So meditation allows me to be present. So with those three things, those are like 3 points, and I could probably give you 100.
Right.
It all ties back into core 4, which is the body being balanced in business and being clear on what needs work and being okay with committing to doing the work required to get what you want.
Yeah. I love that.
You see, I assume that people that are in business or that are in powerful positions, the majority of them, I'm not saying everybody, I feel like the majority of people that have managed to get to that level are aware of this stuff already. And you'll probably tell me that probably none of them are.
No,
Right?
you think about it. So everybody has an Achilles heel or a weakness. And I had to sacrifice to get where I was at.
Yeah.
I don't have kids, right? I had to sacrifice. I had to make a choice.
Yeah.
So all the guys that I've come into contact with, whether it's the highest level entrepreneurs that are making $60 million a year or guys that are just scraping by, we are all the same. You are unique.
Yeah.
You are unique. I am unique as a person. My face looks different. I have some different qualities or traits, but guess what? As men, we are all dealing with the same thing.
Right.
And it's called the system, it's like the sedation of man.
Right.
It's like the sedation of man. And the systematic sedation of man, and this is something that we teach in Warrior 2. It's like, if you look back at World War II, they say it was the greatest generation of all time, right? These men that were just like, they stepped up and they fought for their country. Well, what happened in the last, 70 years? It's easier to get food.
You don't have to do shit.
Yeah, our ability, like the threat is down. The news makes it seem like, it's horrible in the world right now. And there's always threat, right? There's always crazy dictators and shit that want to start fights. But there's not a saber-toothed fucking tiger chasing me out the door when I leave here today.
Yeah.
So what happens? Anxiety levels go up. Stress levels go up. Fight or flight kicks in no matter what. And what do? We drink it. We pop the pill. We go watch porn. We go fuck other women. We do all these things to try to make ourselves feel better. That's where we are as a gender today of men. This is why the younger generation right now is in trouble.
Yeah.
Because they come from the everybody gets a trophy mentality. And what they're finding in college-age kids is they come through, now listen, if you're a young guy and you're killing it, good fucking work. But I'm talking about the average. They're narcissistic because their parents have taken them to soccer and taken them to this and taken them to that. And they've built this world that relies completely around this child, instead of letting them take their lumps.
Yeah.
Now, I didn't grow up that way.
Yeah.
I grew up with like, hey, go fucking split wood. If you want that bike,
Yeah.
go split wood. And the crazy shit is, So my dad made me split wood when I was 9 years old to earn this BMX bike that I wanted so bad. I still have it in my garage. I'm 38 years old. No shit.
I was thinking about this the other day. I remember the only time I'd ever get new shoes would be when I go on holiday. Remember way before you went on holiday? Where are we from? We went on vacation. And they'd be like, "Oh, you get some new shoes for holiday."
Yeah.
And I was so looking forward to going on holiday, get me new shoes. And the reason why I thought about that was I seen a bunch of English people walking down Wilshire Boulevard the other day, and you can tell when you've been here for so long. Them's definitely English.
Stand out, man.
Not all had brand new shoes on. That's what you do.
Yeah.
Steve, if people wants to find you, I mean, you're not very big yet on social media, but we're feeling you're going to blow up soon. You're under the radar.
CoachSteve.com. Like CoachSteve.com is the site. It should be up probably at the end of the week. That's the thing is I wanted to build this business without having to go crazy on social media.
Right.
Because I'm only taking on 34 clients, but the content is coming.
Yeah.
Right. The content is coming. It's just I just transitioned into my own business this year. So in the first quarter of this year, I went from being the head coach at Warrior, which I'm still connected to. I'm still doing stuff with them, but then building Straight Path Leadership. So go to CoachSteve.com or look me up on Facebook. Instagram, it's Coach Steve Krebs. Facebook is just Steve Krebs, or Coach Steve is a Facebook page there.
Coach Steve on Instagram as well, right? So we'll tag you in a video that we'll put you in. But I think this has been really good, and like I was telling Glenn earlier on, one of the best things for me about doing these podcasts is you get interesting people like yourself, and when we learn a lot from it, like we've just learned there. I'm gonna have to listen back to this as well because some of these whatever the word.
I talk fast.
You talk fast, and I need to let it process a little bit. But yeah, I mean that was great. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, it was class. Thanks.
And if you want to follow us on Instagram, it's @BoxingLife, and remember, leave us a 5-star review on iTunes. Glenn is still got his offer on. As soon as we get to 50 reviews on iTunes, we're going to Glenn's going to give someone a free private training session with Mr. Six Figure Homes. Imagine that, Steve. A free session.
A free session? So it's with how many reviews?
If we get once we get 50.
50 reviews. So I'll throw something on top of that. Once you guys get to 50 reviews, if it's a business owner or a personal trainer, I'll give them a 30-minute strategy call, which is normally $2,000. I'll throw it on top. And I'll help them build their business in the 30 minutes.
Wow.
So you charge $4,000 an hour?
Well, yeah.
I need to up my rate, don't I?
Yeah. 1,500 is not good. Yeah, look at that. That's great. So leave us a 5-star review on iTunes, and you're going to get that off Steve, which is worth a couple of grand, and off Glenn, which is worth about 10 grand. Thank you for listening, and until next time, we'll see you later.
Thanks, everyone.